What is up? It is Andy, back from Boca Vista. You think I haven't driven a Cadillac before? To talk about a little something I like to call the NHL playoffs. Have you heard of such a thing? And for whoever it was out there who said it's the most New York thing ever to have family members in Florida that you're visiting, it's also the most New York thing to call you an absolute rat bastard. It is. Where's your family member that you visit? Newfoundland? Oh my God. It's the most Manitoba thing ever to have an uncle in Newfoundland who retired and wants to be off the grid because of his shady business practices. I have no clue what I'm talking about. I've never visited one place, never visited the other. Probably never will. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll come to see some of you. How am I going to get there? Maybe I'll drive. You want to know why? Because I have a car. Why do I have a car? Because I've been betting on playoff unders for years. That's exactly why I have a car. But we have 3 games here on this Wednesday slate, and I'm here to talk about a few of them. Let's do things in my classic memento style, where we start at the end and then work our way to the front of the magazine. I'm going to start as I'm talking about the LA Kings and the Edmonton Oilers. LA's up 1-0 in this series by a hair. By a hair. And if you ask me, this is a very worrisome 1-0 lead in this series. Despite the fact that my biggest question of the Kings was answered, I believe they scored 3 power play goals in Game 1. Last year, 5 games, 0 power play goals. This year, 1 game, 3 power play goals. They go up 4-0 in the game. This should be lights out. It's the best home team in hockey. It's the number 2 defense in the NHL. Game over. The Edmonton team that hasn't played together is absolutely rusty, is a worse version of itself than previous years, gets the game tied late in the third period, a 4-0 lead, and then a 2-goal lead late in the third is eradicated. That's a bad sign, if you ask me, for the LA Kings prospects. I told you I don't take much stake in that regular season. It was the number 1 regular season home ice advantage. But if there's anything last game taught you, no, that's it. It's over. There is no home ice advantage if you can take a 4-0 lead with the number 2 defense in the NHL and best home ice record in the NHL and just blow it to a team who hasn't even played together in over a month. So that's very bad for the LA Kings, which is why for you pizzeria folk who just need to walk up to the counter of your local pizzeria and say Donkeyline picks.
What do you guys want?
For the 4th straight series, I'm going to pick this series to end up split after 2, but rather than being the Kings for the 4th straight time, I'm going to take the road team, in this case, Edmonton, to find a way to even up this series. So my Donkeyline pick of the day, I guess, is going to be the Edmonton Oilers plus 115 against this LA Kings team who just has to, there just has to be some ghosts in there say, did we really blow that lead at home? Darcy Kemper, as I told you, is a product of that great defense and is not some sort of great goalie, but if that defense breaks down at all, you're going to have 5 goals let in, just like you did against the old Darcy Kemper. So I'm going with Edmonton here, and if Edmonton's going to win, how is it going to happen? I don't know. Did you see a little Connor McDavid doing everything last game? I don't know. I was looking for the Leon Draisaitl highlight package. Didn't quite see that because, as always, it's McDavid does everything or nothing else happens at all. And McDavid went wild late in that game, and I see that continuing in this game. So there were a big 3 players on Edmonton who seemingly they did everything offensively, and really it was all driven by McDavid. But I'm talking about Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, and Bouchard, the classic power play trio, and I'm looking for those 3 to continue what we saw the other night in that second half of the game. So first and foremost, we're going to go with a classic 9-5 Connor McDavid over 1.5 points. That's a great price, plus 132 for a guy. How many points did he have? 4, 5? He was a part of every single goal, but it wasn't just being a part of the goal. He was delivering these goals on a silver platter or scoring them himself, which was the case with the tying goals. So when Connor McDavid is playing his absolute best, a determined Connor McDavid who wants to will this team into more series than just this one, I'm liking him for over 1.5 points, and then just some mix and matches that get you to plus money. The Evan Bouchard point with the Connor McDavid assist. and then the Leon Draisaitl point with the Evan Bouchard assist, just trying to maximize everything I can on those 3 power play players. We saw McDavid and Draisaitl be put together at many times throughout the last game, and at many times throughout this season, and at many times throughout their careers together. So we know if things aren't going their way, they'll be thrown together at any point throughout the game, which is why I'm not chasing anything with, their other theoretical line mates. No Arvidsson and Draisaitl. If things are going poorly, it will just be McDavid and Draisaitl anytime they're in any sort of trouble, and then obviously you have any power play time as well. So give me an assortment of Oilers McDavid bets in that last game. Then let's work backwards to Colorado, where they're at home facing the Dallas Stars. Could be up 2-0 in this series. Dallas, we know, is not going to have Robertson. He didn't make the trip. Heiskanen, I believe, made the trip, but we don't know if he's going to be playing in this game. Colorado still has that advantage without Dallas having that full roster. They're obviously going to have home ice advantage when it comes to Colorado. Is a pretty nice advantage to have, especially when we've seen Dallas struggle defensively in this last stretch of the season. In my opinion, they've looked a lot better defensively these last 2 games. They haven't given a ton to Colorado, although Colorado has made the most of their scoring chances. Colorado on their own home ice, maybe a chalky opinion. I mean, I think they're going to win this series. They've looked the part. They've looked as fast as we would have thought. And they always look just a hair slower on the road. Just a hair, not a lot. They did look fast. But when they get on that home Colorado ice, the games feel different, and they come at you in waves. And one thing that was apparent these first 2 games, I said this in the series breakdown, and it was really apparent in these first 2 games. The team speed, Dallas is at a major disadvantage. They have Hintz and maybe one other player. They have so few players who can skate with Colorado. And that's why Colorado is scoring all these goals off the rush that you saw in these first 2 games. It's because their ability in transition just overwhelms what Dallas has on the defensive side. Dallas has done a pretty good job, but I think this is going to be a tall task for them over there in Colorado. So if you want, you can go into your pizzeria and deliver them a Colorado money line.
How much you got, buddy?
But here, with a price like -170 or -175, I'm going to use classic Andy tricks to bring that down. If they're doing well on their own home ice and they're skating a lot in transition, then I think Cale Makar is going to have a single point. Is that fair to think? Is that a fair assessment that Cale Makar, the Norris winner and like a 30-goal scorer, will have a point, whether it's on the power play or at even strength? Well, if you take that Colorado money line and combine that with a Cale Makar point, you're looking at an even money bet. And if I'm going to take Colorado, which I do like to win this game, I will take that with a Cale Makar point. Then in this first game between the Montreal Canadiens and the Washington Capitals, in that first game, we kind of saw a scam number 1 seed and a kind of scam number 8 seed having a scam-off. We saw Washington jump to a 2-0 lead, and then we saw them blow that, but Ovechkin ended up winning it in overtime. I don't think either of these teams are destined for the 3rd round of the playoffs. I think this series is up in the air. It's up in the air for either team to win. When this goes to Montreal, I'm going to feel pretty confident taking the Canadiens the way Washington is playing. I will say, just because you saw all those, sputtering Capitals performances at the end of the year doesn't mean they're going to be letting up 4 or 5 goals like you saw. They overwhelmed Montreal, a poor defensive team and a very young team. They overwhelmed them. They were hitting them at every chance that they possibly could. It took them a little while to get into that game, but they came back from a 2-0 deficit, forced overtime. And when you're in overtime, you could have lost just as easily as you could have won. So when it comes to this game, I'm taking some Montreal players who literally generated nothing. This is going to be some Andy crafting. When it comes to playoffs, you got to know arts and crafts. You got to know what sites to use. You got to do what you can to build some potential unders. Overall, I like the unders on the Canadian side. I'm not messing around with Caulfield and Suzuki. I don't want to do that. Fortunately, they've listed 2 other lines for me to play with in the point props. So what I'm going to go with is an under 6.5 in this game. And then I'm going to take the under 0.5 point for Demidov and Newhook. That's a line 2, power play 2 combo. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing with Brendan Gallagher and Christian Dvorak. Under 6.5 with the under 0.5 point on both of those guys. So I like this game to stay under 6.5, just like it did in the last game. I told you in that playoff preview, just because Washington was giving up a lot of goals, I knew they had that defense in their back pocket. That's what this coach preaches. That's what you saw all of last season, not this previous one, the one before that. And they can try to shut down the other team, which they did successfully for most of that last game. I think Montreal will probably struggle to generate a ton of goals. I got them at like max 3. Maybe if they get to like a 3-1 lead, then they get the fourth scam empty netter. But I don't see them scoring on a goalie at max more than 3 times. So I'm looking for the under 6.5 in any ways I could potentially find. And one of those ways is by taking those Montreal double unders with the under 6.5. And then looking at the other side, if you don't like either of those routes because you feel like Montreal's going to win, if they're offering that Ryan Leonard point, down on line 3 by himself, neither power play, they offered it last game, that was a solid under. During the playoffs, because they kind of tend to list more players than usual, I really look for those hidden unders. Specifically guys who are on neither power play and on lines 3 and 4. And those yesterday, for me, were 4 for 4. And I'm looking at those guys. Like Dvorak is on neither power play and on line 3 for Montreal. Leonard, line 3, neither power play. I just like taking these strategic unders to juice other plays that I like. For example, if you don't want to take that Cale Makar point, then, or maybe you don't have that ability at your sportsbook, then all right, Colorado money line with the under 0.5 a point on Christian Dvorak. That's what I have for you here. I got no pirate parlays for you. I just got back, want to get you a quick video. Tomorrow I'll start digging for a little bit more. That's what I have for you here on a Wednesday. Good luck to you. Doesn't matter how good things are going for me. Doesn't matter how bad things are for you. You can be carless, penniless. You're only down to bonus bets. I still think it should be better luck for me. If you guys want, obviously you know this. If you've been over there, even when I'm traveling, even when I can't get out a video, I always get out everything on my Patreon. And that's also where there's a ton of chat threads. New people who have joined said that they're happy in the chat. They don't even need anything from me. So there's a, I guess, interesting, funny community of sniffers in there who exchange all sorts of preposterous tickets. Think I'm going to be proud when they hit a plus 8,000, but I say, no, you're just a downright filthy pirate. And hopefully you will be one of them soon. So hopefully I will see you there. If not, I will see you tomorrow for another round of NHL playoff sniffs. Take it easy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Weeksy coming to you live here from Miami. Do not be a gargoyle. You see the palm trees there? There might be some in there at night. You don't have to be one. Do not be a gargoyle. Subscribe to Andy's channel for the most entertaining NHL sniffs on YouTube. Make sure you do it.
What was that ruckus?